So Novadip is trying to help patients who have very limited options right now in terms of large critical size tissue reconstruction. So these are patients in the area of bone where bone non-union, large non-unions that don't heal, bone tumor resection, and other similar type of problems where you currently only have the option of using allo bone graft, autologous bone graft. These do not work extremely well, often come with large complicated surgeries, and result in high costs and not such great quality of life or outcomes. Similarly, with large skin reconstruction, you're having to deal with the vascular skin flap transplantation, multiple complex surgeries, and again, the outcomes are not great. So the opportunity is there for a tissue reconstruction product that can address these large reconstructions needed in both the bone and skin space. We have a technology platform that we think creates tissue reconstruction products that are uniquely able to make these large defects and solve those. Our current product candidates are individualized. It's autologous. I'll walk you through that in a second, but we think they have maximum potential efficacy. And by focusing on high unmet need, relatively small commercial opportunities, but where there's high unmet need, that you can be commercially successful with a autologous cell therapy. In particular, our lead program is going to be a rare pediatric orphan disease in the orthopedic area, and we think that obviously provides a fast path to approval along with the option of the voucher. But we also are using the same technology platform to develop allogeneic off-the-shelf product candidates, which of course we can then use to address larger market opportunities. So our technology platform is scaffold-free. Most of the reconstruction therapies out there use scaffolds and cells together. The problem with scaffolds is they only have proteins for structure, not for function. They don't really do anything to address the need for the cell to operate in an environment where it can do its thing, if you will. And in particular, the scaffolds create inflammation and eventually bone resorption in the case of bone. And of course, by just seeding the cells on the scaffold, you don't actually know how many cells are actually going to where they need to go and staying around long enough to do what they need to do. Before I talk about the actual way we address not using a scaffold, we use adipose-derived mesenchymal stem cells instead of bone marrow, and we, in particular, differentiate those stem cells, and you can see on this slide that not only do these cells operate quite well in a low oxygen environment, which is obviously necessary for bone reconstruction, but also you can see the angiogenesis and the VEGF expression with the differentiated, which are the black bars, is much, much higher with the adipose cells compared to bone marrow, and also the osteocalcin expression for osteogenicity is much, much higher with the differentiated stem cells as well. So what we do is we take the differentiated stem cells and we have the cell layer, and then we seed those with particles depending on the product that we're making. And over time, we create this extracellular matrix. And that matrix, as I mentioned, as opposed to just having structural proteins like the scaffolds, it has functional proteins in it as well. And it provides an environment that mimics what happens inside the body. So the cells, which are trapped, as you can see on the far right, those are cells within the matrix, around the particles, are able to function in the environment of the matrix and then in the body when they're implanted in the body. So we call that a virtuous cycle between the extracellular matrix and the cells. So the cells are inside of the matrix, having the functionality, in particular for osteogenic and angiogenic promotion, but also in the case of our second generation product for bone, we also have anti-osteoclast properties as well as high mineralization, obviously needed for the large kinds of bone defects that we're trying to reconstruct. So all of that is done with the same process that I'll show you in a second, and just the particles that we use to seed the cells are different, and the qualities of the products are quite different. And again, same process, but just using gelatin beads instead of particles, we get a product for tissue regeneration. So it's the cells inside the matrix together that really differentiate us from everybody else. So the manufacturing process, we only need a tiny amount, just a couple cc's of adipose tissue to start. We can get it in up to 72 hours, and then we isolate the stem cells, differentiate, expand them, and then differentiate them, and then create the matrix over time, as I'll show on the next slide. We have been now for a number of years in clinical studies. We see very little variability batch to batch. We've never failed a batch once we get good tissue. So it's very robust. And now we're doing optimization and scale out to get ready for larger clinical studies and eventually commercialization. We have our own GMP certified facility, and we're able to make just as much of the final product as needed based on the size of the defect and the depth of the defect. So you can see we've made more than 20 cc's of product from a single small tissue collection. So we isolate the stem cells, we expand those over the course of a few weeks, and then we differentiate them into the osteogenic stem cells that we want. As I showed earlier, those are the ones that give you the best results with osteogenicity and angiogenicity. And then we seed those cells with the particular particles that we're using in order to create the final product over a period of maturation and 3D induction. So the final product is a malleable 3D product that can be implanted directly into the bone defect and then generates new bone and growth. So our focus in the clinic has been in bone non-union with NVD03, which is our lead product, which has the characteristics that I discussed. NVD03 is also the product we're going to take into this rare pediatric disease. NVD01 was the first generation product, which we have completed a trial in spine fusion. And then NVD02 is the skin reconstruction product. And then NVD0X is what we're calling our off-the-shelf product. So NVD03, first trial is ongoing, adults with bone non-union, enrolling 5 to 10 patients. You can see prior to the implantation of the product what the non-union looks like in a large bone non-union, and then the product is implanted right into where that bone defect is, and then we, over the course of 12 months, view the scan and eventually hope to see new bone growth and fusion of the bones. That trial will have initial data in approximately 12 months from now, and then if positive, we'll go into a phase 2b trial in those patients. The rare pediatric bone disease will be starting in 12 months or so. We already have treated one child successfully, and a second child is about to be treated under unmet need hospital exemption. As I mentioned earlier, the idea here is a quick path to approval and get to the market in a rare disease and also be able to get the voucher from the FDA. And in particular, as I said, that NVD03 does have the ability to avoid bone resorption as well as high mineralization, so we think it's uniquely suited to these large defects. NVD01, the first generation product, we completed a trial in 32 patients. It does have a control arm, so we'll have safety, feasibility, and preliminary efficacy data. First proof of concept data is at the end of this year, 12-month follow-up. The final endpoint is 24-month follow-up to see the fusion in the experimental arm versus fusion at that point in time in the control arm. And as I mentioned with NVD01, because it doesn't have that high mineralization like 003, you can think of it more as kind of a bone glue. So we really need to think about, once we see the final data, what is the future for development of NVD01 as compared to 003 in the bone reconstruction field. NVD02 is the product for skin, tissue engineering for skin repair. This slide shows a study in animals where deep tissue skin removal, which is on the far right, on the right side of that slide, as opposed to the normal healthy skin on the left part of that slide. And in the middle is after just 15 days. And this was a product that was generated using stem cells from humans to create a product that was then used on the rats. And within 15 days, you can't tell the difference between the skin from the original animal and the new skin that was generated from the product. So we're now thinking about what's the first trial to do for this and move it into the clinic next year as a proof of concept, particularly focused on catastrophic burns. And then NVD-006 is a title we're using really for various approaches we're looking at for allogeneic products. This is using the platform, using cells to create the matrix, and then either using the matrix alone as a product or the secretome with the matrix, so looking at exosomes and things like that, to see if we can get those same characteristics from the cells that we get with the autologous product, so osteogenesis, high mineralization, et cetera, without having a autologous therapy. We do have some initial encouraging preclinical data for bone reconstruction using just the matrix, but that work is ongoing. We expect to have in vivo proof of concept data in animals by about 12 months from now, and we're thinking about potential clinical opportunities in areas like maxillofacial surgery. So when we think about our strategy, we think about our autologous therapies as focused on these relatively smaller, large defects, but smaller commercial opportunities where a autologous, premium price therapy is justified, high unmet need, high cost of treatment, poor outcomes, things like bone non-union, the rare pediatric disease, bone tumor resection, complex spinal fusion, so multi-level spinal fusion is an area where we're interested in going. And then in skin, catastrophic burns, some rare skin diseases, again, where you can justify an autologous approach to skin or bone reconstruction. But then having the allogeneic approach in development, hopefully in the clinic in a couple of years, where we can then address much larger market opportunities that you can't address with an autologous therapy. We do plan to continue development of NVD-003 on our own. 002 we would plan to partner, probably after proof of concept data next year in the skin trial. But then kicking off later this year our Series B financing, which we would close in the first half of next year. So I went a lot faster than I expected. I have 2 minutes, but thanks for your attention, and I'll be out back. Thanks.